Have a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second by Ashley. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. Same situation with the minutes from last month. Any additions or corrections?
Move to approve.
Motion by Sebastian,
Second.
a second by Josh to approve the minutes as printed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thanks, everyone. Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak to something that is not on the agenda? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak to something that is not on the agenda? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak to something that is not on the agenda? Hearing and seeing none, we will move on to public hearings. Our first hearing for the evening is Roy and Teresa Gilbertson, request for a conditional use permit. The applicant is seeking the conditional use permit for an event center at 158 80th Street South, Glendon, Minnesota. Parcel ID is 10.008.0155 and 10.009.2001. Part of the northeast quarter of the northeast section 8 and part of the northwest quarter of northwest quarter section 9. Township 139N, Range 47W, Glendon Township. Look for a motion to open the public hearing.
So offered, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Jenny,
Second.
second by Kurt Stubsted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public hearing is open. Take it away, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a conditional use permit request for a retreat/event center. This is between Dilworth and Glendon on the south side of US Highway 10. It's currently residential and an event center. There's a conditional use permit granted in 2010 for a haunted farm, and in 2013 there was an interim use permit granted for a home occupation event center. Lots of zoning on this property. Ag general shore is the base zoning, overlay being shoreland special protection, floodway, floodplain fringe, and then resource protection, wellhead protection. So the request is essentially to convert their home occupation interim use permit to a conditional use permit, and they intend to use the additional acreage just for backup or overflow parking. And so prior to, they had acquired this property here to the north and combined it with their property here to the south. So prior to that acquisition, the event center was just on this property. And with that, it essentially allows them to meet our lot standards for event centers and all the other standards as well. So instead of just going through, they needed to renew their interim use permit because it was only for the property to the south and not the additional property anyway. So the thought was just convert it to a conditional use permit because you meet all the standards now. Most of the uses and structures would not be permitted in the floodway or the resource protection wellhead protection, the exception to that being parking. And so you can see their current parking and then additional parking if needed. Just noting the Buffalo Aquifer is, they're kind of right on the edge of that Buffalo Aquifer. And our wellhead protection kind of runs right down here. Since they've been in business for 10 plus years, we haven't had any issues, complaints, or anything of that nature. Get my yearly call from the fire marshal about them, and no issues seem to be arising from that either. So how this request relates to our comprehensive plan: we have a goal to encourage commercial and industrial development that is in harmony with the ag and rural character of Clay County, and to promote value-added commercial and industrial development in agricultural service center areas and along transportation corridors and hubs. and this use is located along Highway 10. We have a objective to avoid or mitigate against commercial and industrial development in and near environmentally sensitive areas. This is adjacent to the Buffalo Aquifer and the Buffalo River. It's not an industrial heavy commercial use. It really relies on the scenic nature of the area as part of their business. So impacts to these resources should be minimal. And then to avoid or mitigate against commercial and industrial development that increases potential for conflicts with residential or ag uses. This does not take any ag land out of production and would not interfere with any ag operations. The closest residence to this use is about 750 feet from the property line, and it's across US Highway 10 to the north. Any questions for me at all? Go back to the...
I always thought they owned it already, so, cause it just, you know, it laid there and what else, and I think this is a good use for that and for you guys, cause, you know, it isn't farmable, you know, there's some hay ground there. That's it. It wouldn't affect any highway use, I mean, anyone have any questions or comments for Matt? Would the applicant care to speak to your project? And if so, come up to the mic and state your name for the record, please.
My name is Roy Gilbertson. Well, that's loud, isn't it? Yeah, basically, we finally, after 37 years, this neighbor sold us this piece of property we've been trying to get, and we just are adding it into our, incorporating it into our project. So we're using it basically for overflow parking if we ever need it. We might look at putting in a different ceremony site down there that's portable. Other than that, we have a guy that's coming in and doing horse and buggy rides around for if the wedding wants to hire him. But other than that, that's just the use we're using it for. So.
Anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Gilbertson? Thank you.
All right.
Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against this ask? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against this permit? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against this permit? Hearing none, look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ashley, seconded by Brad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Public hearing is closed. Findings of fact. The conditional use will not be injurious to the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the residents of Clay County. The conditional use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted. The establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses predominant in the area. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide utilities, access road, drainage, and off-street parking and loading spaces as required by the ordinance. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, vibration, water pollution, and soil erosion, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs or other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. The conditional use will not create an excessive burden on current or anticipated public infrastructure or services that serve or are proposed to serve the area, including to but not limited to parks, schools, public safety services, roads, water supply, sanitary sewers, storm sewers, unless the county and the applicant establish a development agreement that determines how such impacts will be resolved. The conditional use is allowed by this ordinance and conforms with any specific use standards in Chapter 8 as may be applicable. The conditional use is consistent with the goals and objective of the Clay County Comprehensive and Transportation Plan and any comprehensive plan of a township or city as may be applicable. Matt and staff have several conditions
And,
to
and
propose.
Mr. Chair, these conditions are essentially taken from their interim use permit application with just some modifications. The condition 3, hours, dates of operation, essentially mirror the request, what they're requesting in their new request. Before, I think it was more limited to the beginning of February.
Yeah, everything, anybody have any comments or questions? I guess I'd like to say that I appreciate coming prior to than after. Anybody have any questions or adjustments they feel should be made or added to the 6 conditions that staff has? Has the applicant had a chance to review, and if approved, you are able and understand to be able to abide by these 6 conditions? Applicant has indicated yes. Hearing no discussion, look for a motion to approve or disapprove.
I'll make the
Conditional
motion to
use.
approve with the 6 conditions listed.
Okay, Kurt has made a motion to approve.
Second.
Brad has seconded with the existing 6 conditions. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Cup is approved. Thank you. On to our next hearing. It is Westland Materials LLC, request for an IUP mining permit amendment. The applicant is seeking an interim use mining permit amendment to change a condition on parcel ID 17.012.4000 in the southeast quarter of Section 12, Township 141N, Range 45W, Keene Township. Look for a motion to approve the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sebastian, seconded by Brad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public hearing is open. There you go, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep, this is an interim use gravel mining amendment request. Heard a amendment request last month for the same pit, changing the hours of operation. This is north on CSA 33 on the west side in Keene Township. They originally received an interim use permit for 38-acre gravel mine in 2021. That was amended last month, and then variances to setbacks approved in 2022. Another a parcel with complicated zoning. So ag general is the base zoning, then there's resource protection aggregate, resource protection biological, shoreland, special protection, and general floodplain. The mining is really only anticipated to occur in the resource protection aggregate and ag general zoning districts. So really 2 amendments here. Looking for an amendment to allow for mining into the water table, and then a slight expansion of the maximum acreage from 38 acres to 39.5 acres. So what that request looks like is removing condition 11, all mining activities must occur at minimum 10 feet above the groundwater table to allow for mining to occur below the groundwater table, and then changing that 38 acres for mining operations to 39.5. Just some little history here. The intent of that 10-foot vertical buffer was between the mine floor and the groundwater table. It's essentially based on DNR guidance and research. For some of these larger open water mining operations, typically the large ones where you have a dredge involved, the actual evapotranspiration rate or evaporation rate is higher, that has been observed, higher than an actual lake or pond. And they've noticed downstream effects on water resources, wetlands. Basically, it's almost like a naturally dewatering those water resources downstream. Most of that, though, research is based on like large, I think of like Pit 21 or some of the pits up by Felton Prairie, and not necessarily these smaller pits. So really what they're looking at opening is about an 8-acre area to a depth of about 10 to 20 feet. And then that 1.5 acre expansion is pretty negligible. So this is essentially where that open water area would be. So it would be on the south side of the property. They're looking at putting it right in here. Any questions for me at all?
There's a neighbor right there. Any comments from the neighbor, right?
Yeah, this is an older, those homes have been removed actually, so, yep.
How does going 10 feet deeper affect the reclamation plan?
I think what their reclamation plan would be is just to have that be like just a natural water feature once it's done. They'd try and fill it in some, and then it would just be used for livestock for like a watering hole essentially, I think is, or just a pond essentially.
DNR is,
Have not heard any comments from the DNR.
anyone else? If not, would the applicant care to come up and speak to your project and same as last month, say your name?
Yeah. Jeff with Westland Excavating. We used up a lot of our resources that were above the water, and we finding a lot of sand now, so we'd like to dig down into the water and try and get a little more material out of there with all the work we've got coming up. And I'm not sure if the material will actually go that far west. That was just my estimation, I guess.
Are you dredging or digging it with an excavator?
Digging it with an excavator.
Have you done this type of mining prior to this?
I was actually involved in that pond on the south side on Aggregates property back in the day, I guess.
Okay.
Not with Westland, but I have been around it before.
I've been in that pit, so. Anyone else have questions for Jeff? Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Hearing none, look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Josh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public hearing is closed. For the fun part. The interim use will not be injurious to the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of Clay County. The interim use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted. The establishment of the interim use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses predominant in the area. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide utilities, access roads, drainage, off-street parking, and loading spaces as required by this ordinance. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, vibration, water pollution, and soil erosion, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs or other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to the neighboring properties will result. The interim use will not create an excessive burden on current or anticipated public infrastructure or services that serve or are proposed to serve the area, including but not limited to parks, schools, public safety services, roads, water supply, sanitary sewers, storm sewers, unless the county and the applicant establish a development agreement that determines how such impacts will be resolved. The interim use is allowed by this ordinance and conforms with any specific use standards established in Chapter 8 as may be applicable. The interim use is consistent with the goals and objectives of the Clay County Comprehensive and Transportation Plan and any comprehensive plan of a township or city as may be applicable. Okay, Matt and staff have got a 13 conditions tagged to this permit ask.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, these are essentially the same as was heard last month with just the removal of that condition 11, which I forgot to number, so it's like, there we go, 12
Okay,
conditions. And then the only other thought would be is if the planning commission would want to put an acreage limit on that open water area or not. It's really up to you.
so there won't be any washing, it's just digging it out of the,
Correct.
okay, see a couple of affirmative shakes. Nobody has any questions or comments or additions to the 12 conditions. Look for a motion to approve or disapprove. Oh, wait a minute, sorry. Jeff, you okay in dealing with one less thing that you had to deal with last month? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Look for,
Does the 1.5 acre expansion create any issues with the setbacks?
Mr. Chair and Mr. Steichen, no, it does not, just because they have variances in hand already for those, or approved variances for the setbacks.
okay. Any further questions? If not, look for a motion to approve or disapprove the IUP request.
A motion to approve conditions 1 through 12.
Motion by Brad to approve,
I'll sec,
second by Jenny. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Permit is granted. Okay, moving on to the next public hearing, we have a Nicholas and Heather Sauer request for a conditional use permit. The applicant is seeking a conditional use to convert an accessory use to a principal use on parcel 13.026.3003 in part of the northwest quarter of section 26, Township 139, Range 45W, Hawley Township. Look for a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the hearing.
Motion by Laura,
Second.
second by Sebastian. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is open. Thank you. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep, this is a request to convert an accessory use, in this case a garage, to a principal use. This would be on the northeast side of Silver Lake, south of Hawley and east of CASA 31. Currently, it's farmland. The property is zoned ag general, general floodplain, just for a little bit along the shoreline there, and shoreland special protection. So looking to construct a 1,020 square foot 40 by 60 garage, intend to be used for personal use and storage, have connections to electricity, septic well, include a bathroom and a fridge. The original application was for a garage that did have a bathroom, bedrooms, and a full kitchen. This would have been permitted just essentially as a seasonal recreational residence. But since then, it was talking with the applicant, is going to be a garage. So the current iteration does have just a bathroom and a refrigerator. The catch here being that a garage that could be used as a residence, but then in the future, if they wanted to build an additional residence on the parcel, they would have to subdivide the parcel essentially, because you cannot have two dwellings on one parcel, and to meet our density requirements and then shoreline regulations as well. So with that, typically a dwelling is something that has a bathroom, bedroom, and kitchen. Garage, it could have two of those three amenities in it, whether it be a bathroom, bedroom, or a kitchen. Currently, it's just a bathroom and a fridge is the plan. From our comprehensive plan, we have a goal to support the long-term protection of the county's strong, diverse ag economy, ensuring all new development is compatible with the character and quality of the county's ag areas. It would take a limited amount of prime farmland if drained out of production. We do have a goal also to protect and enhance the health and vitality of Clay County's surface waters, including lakes, rivers, and streams for the benefit and enjoyment of Clay County residents and visitors, and to reduce development pressure on natural environment. Lakes in Clay County, the development as proposed would meet all applicable shoreland regulations. Any questions for me at all?
So they already have an existing septic, or they're gonna put an
I
existing?
believe they're gonna put one in, but I'll let the applicant speak to that when it's his. Yep.
Okay.
I should note too, if they ever do decide to construct a residence, that there would be in this, and convert this one into a dwelling or a seasonal recreational residence, there is ample room to subdivide on this property.
Thank you. Would the applicant care to come up and speak? Introduce yourself and.
Yeah, my name's Nick Sauer, and that's the garage we want to build. So What you're looking at there is a future plan. Our goal is to build a residence out there, and that, what you see there is just kind of a future plan in case we don't have enough money to actually build a whole house. And we wanted to we drew that up so we could fit bedrooms and kitchen and stuff like that in there. So we chose that square footage and tried to put the pieces together to make sure that it would fit. That's not the original plan. The goal, the dream, is to go out there and make it a permanent residence, that being a garage, attach a house to that, or unattached house to that. So the plan is to take that garage, have enough setback further than necessary so we can add a house in front of it, so it'd be closer to the lake.
So how big of a, are you anticipating building your septic for the future or just for immediate use? Or it would be substantially smaller?
No, it'd be for the future. And it'd be a, like a plastic septic in case we want to move the house somewhere else. Like in case it's unattached to this, we would just, you know, cap the sewer, just move the septic over.
And setbacks all work with the county, Matt, with, well, potential setbacks with putting a house?
Yeah. Mr. Chair, based on the site plan provided, yes.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Sauer? Thank you. Anybody in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Hearing none, look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Brad, seconded by Sebastian. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Public hearing is closed.
And Mr. Chair, I did just get confirmation from our environmental health director that the plastic septic tank would be fine.
Okay. Thank you. I should have thought of that. The conditional use will not be injurious to the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the residents of Clay County. The conditional use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted. The establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses predominant in the area. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide utilities, access roads, drainage, off-street parking, and loading spaces as required by this ordinance. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, vibrations, water pollution, and soil erosion, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs or other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. The conditional use will not create an excessive burden on current or anticipated public infrastructure or services that serve or are proposed to serve the area, including but not limited to parks, schools, public safety services, roads, water supply, sanitary sewers, storm sewers, unless the county and the applicant establish a development agreement that determines how such impacts will be resolved. The conditional use is allowed by this ordinance and conforms with any specific use standards established in Chapter 8 as may be applicable. The conditional use is consistent with the goals and objectives of the Clay County Comprehensive and Transportation Plan and any comprehensive plan of a township or city as may be applicable. Okay, Matt and staff have 3 conditions up there. And the applicant is aware that it's kind of like meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And no commercial property or commercial activity. Anyone have anything they think should be added or removed to the conditions? Seem pretty straightforward. Applicant understands what he's asking and what we're looking for.
Mr. Chair, just based off of the applicant's comments for condition 3, he said the dream is to construct a residence that might be either attached or unattached to this, but the backup plan is if they don't do the residence, that this would kind of be converted into a residence. So I'm wondering, just so the applicant doesn't have to come back and amend this conditional use permit, if we add the clause unless the structure is established as the principal resident or principal dwelling on the property.
So like turning it into a house or something.
Yes. If that would be appropriate.
Okay, I see a couple of nods. Would anyone care to articulate that?
So he wouldn't have to come back if he turned it into a house, but he would if he built a new home? Or are we trying to cover both bases here?
Essentially, he wouldn't, if it was converted into a house, he would not have to come back if we added this clause in there. If he builds a new home, then it would be the 2 of the 3 still. Yeah.
And he'd have to subdivide.
Or you wouldn't have to necessarily subdivide, because right now the plan is just the bathroom and the refrigerator.
Yep.
So then it'd be, yep.
Mr. Chair and Matt, if he ended up using this as a residence, would the construction be required to be anything different than what he's planning on now to comply with everything for a house?
Mr. Chair and Mr. Stecken, I don't think at this time, because he's planning on having all the utilities come into the structure, the sewer, water, electrical. Do you want him to?
Yeah, so that was one thing that we took in consideration, if we're gonna have a garage or, if it's gonna be attached or not attached. Just because of the frost depth, we wanna have a footing on the garage, so it doesn't move, especially if we attach it to a house. So, if it's a garage for the rest of its life, or it goes into, or if we convert it into, a livable space, we're gonna have at least a footing that goes down below the frost line, so it doesn't heave.
Thank you. Okay, would anyone like to add a condition 5, or?
Yeah, I just added the clause unless the structure is converted into the
Okay.
principal dwelling.
That looks, see lots of nods.
I'll make a motion to approve with the conditional use permit with 1 through 3.
A motion by Kurt Stubsted,
Second.
second by Brad. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Permit is granted. Anything unfinished, Mr. Matt?
No unfinished business at this time.
But we do have something under new business.
We do. It's very exciting. get down here. So, Moorhead Public Service, is beginning the process to amend the Moorhead Wellhead Protection Plan, for the wells that are located in Moorhead and the Buffalo Aquifers. They are looking at, I guess, they're looking to form a team or a committee, of different LGUs or entities that directly overlie or surround the aquifer areas. And what they've requested from us is that we would appoint a representative to serve on that team. The team meetings would probably begin in November, and they'd last once a month for 6 months. And so what I'm requesting is if we want to recommend appointment of one of the planning commissioners to this wellhead protection plan update team, and I'd bring that to the county board. And so, I guess first of all, is there anyone who would be interested in serving on that? I don't know if, Moorhead, if you likely have someone from
We
your.
probably have someone on NPS commission already, so I don't know if it would be appropriate or proper for me. If
Yep.
no one cares, I could, but I don't know if it'd be a conflict of interest.
I would be willing to give it a whirl if that's. Somebody else is wanting to.
Trying to remember how we've done this in the past, because I know several of the commissioners have the wellhead protection committee within portfolios, and so is this a separate planning commission specific portfolio, and then commission involvement comes later?
I think so. Their specific ask was someone from the planning commission.
Well, I'm not seeing a ton of extra hands, and so I really appreciate the chair's willingness to serve in this capacity. I know in the past we've had SWCD members be part of that discussion as well, and because of Joel's involvement with that, I think that certainly is a really good fit. I don't know if I can make a recommendation or a motion.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, then I'll make a motion to the county, or a recommendation to the county board to appoint Joel.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Jenny and a second by Kurt. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of Jenny's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. And that is, well, what you had for new business then?
I have one more.
Okay, you mean the same one that I have?
Yeah, go for it.
So apparently tonight is the end of the road. Time for a new path. Kurt, I really appreciate working with you. I think I've been on here 4 years now. And you are an active farmer. You give and you farm in, you've been a great part of many conversations because you farm in that area, or you may farm that land where something is happening, and you offer a different point of view than a lot of us have, and I, for one, have really appreciated working with you over the last 4 years, and I'd like you to come up, and staff has prepared a big plaque for you.
Yes, thank you.
And
Hold on.
Believe me, you do not want Jenny to make cupcakes. I can cook, but I cannot bake.
No, I appreciate it very much. It's been an interesting 9 years, and because I was here when other people sat in your chair, Matt, I want to make sure to say before I'm done that it's a lot different than when before you came, and it's a lot better, and it's been a lot of changes. They've all been good, so I applaud you. You're making this job a lot easier.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it. And I just want to also say that Kurt's always the planning commissioner who gets out and about, and here, I know you're always driving and visiting all the sites that will be the subject of a public hearing on our agenda, and providing feedback, and even meeting with me out on some properties as well, just to kind of get some eyes and ears on the ground, and
You're still on the watershed.
yeah. Yeah. So, just really appreciate your involvement, going to trainings, just trying to get a better understanding of land use and zoning, and really taking that to heart. So, really appreciate it, and if you found your replacement, that would be fantastic. There you go.
You have another job now.
So thank you, Kurt.
Mileage for that.
Can I really?
Jenny?
Well, I'm fairly certain that I might have conned Kurt into applying for this. And so I think we had a conversation, and I just said it's either the watershed or the planning. And guess what? Now you've been on both. So I think I did that too. But I also want to comment, having served with you all of those years, there's not any other faces around this table that we've done that together. So I just really want to appreciate you and your work. You're always so responsive to resident concerns, and you provide a neutral listening space for people when they bring concerns forward, and that's why you've just been such an effective leader in this capacity, and also at the watershed. So I've known you for a long time, and I know this isn't the end of the road for you, but I really appreciate serving in this capacity with you. Yeah.
I have one more item of new business. Just want to announce, you might notice that there's an absence tonight, that Erica is not here. And so she did have her baby on September 6th, so 10 days ago. Everett Orion, Frank, a boy, and everyone is doing fantastic. So she'll be gone till December 3rd, and we'll miss her dearly. And hopefully she brings the baby in at some point. But I got a picture of him today. So, me too. So if you want pictures, we got pictures. So congrats to Erica and her family.
Yeah, that's cool.
I still remember Jenny with her little girl. She was like 5 days old when she brought her to the first Soil and Water meeting.
She's 7.
Yeah, I can't believe I've been on, yeah. Okay, lots of good news, and thank you, everyone. If nobody has anything else, our next meeting will be, I didn't look at my calendar.
Yeah, October 21st.
Okay.
Yes, that is something we do need. We have 2 openings. I'm going to be sending out just a letter to all the townships to see if we can solicit some potential interest. And then Kurt, I'll be expecting twice monthly reports on, yeah.
Okay. Hearing no further business or discussion, look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Stubbs said?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Kurt,
Second.
second by Sebastian and Laura. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Kurt.